Welcome to the 757 Preps Peninsula District Football Pig Show. I'm Perez Thomas. I'm here with Jason Kidd as always. We can go ahead and start off by the Eastern Region Final matchup, and boy was it a good one.
Yeah, it was a good game, and it was a typical Phoebus playoff game. Entering the game, they were 5 of the last 6 playoff games. They were trailing in the fourth quarter, and this game was no different.
Yeah, I know Stan Sexton's he better have some good heart attack medicine and blood pressure pills. Because I tell you what, they give you scares. I mean, I thought they had it in the bag. Next thing you know, there's the fumble at the end of the game, and I'm like, are they going to lose, or is Norcom going to slip this one by? But they held on and got the win, 24-20.
Yeah, Sean Summers had a big fourth down pass breakup of Joe Powell in the corner of the end zone, and that sealed the deal. And Summers came up big with his defensive play in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that was a touchdown catch, and next thing you know, he flings his arm right in there. And lucky for Phoebus, he was there to make the big-time play.
Yeah, he had a great game defensive-wise. He had a diving interception catch to stop the Norcom drive, or like in the second quarter. Phoebus's offense relied heavily on Tony Pittman, I'll tell you that.
Goodness, did they? 40-plus carries, 250 rushing yards?
42 carries, 252 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 runs over 50 yards to set up, the touchdowns. He had a magnificent game.
Yeah, they definitely fed the pit bull his kittles and bits. Yes, he ate Greyhounds for dinner on Saturday last week.
I'll tell you, he did.
But, can't take anything away from Norcom. They brought a great, game plan and everything. They just, Phoebus just willed their way to victory.
Definitely. After the game, Stan Sexton said that was the best offense he had played all year. And they definitely came up big. Norcom rushed for over 200 yards, the first team to do that since 2005 against Phoebus' defense.
Yeah, I tell you what, if Phoebus wants to keep moving on, they're definitely going to need to shore up that rush D, because it looked like they were just gouging them up the middle with long draws.
Yeah, they spread the defense out and were able to utilize that by penetrating the gaps, and they just had a lot of success on the ground.
Definitely.
Traquan Martin had a big game. He had over 100 yards rushing. Chevelle Atkins added in. He was the power back, short yardage situations.
Yeah, I think that hurt them as well, because he didn't play in the second half. I saw him come out at halftime, and he was trying to work out his ankle, but he just couldn't get through. He wasn't 100%.
Yeah, but, Phoebus, they played tough, resilient football, and they came away with the win, moving on to states for the 6th straight year.
Definitely. And that go ahead and that'll segue us right on into the state semifinal game, which will be Saturday at Darling Stadium, 1:30 p.m. instead of a 2 p.m. kickoff, between those Phoebus Phantoms, still your reigning state champs, until somebody else can stop them. And they'll be facing off with North Stafford, who brings quite a bit of talent to the table.
Absolutely. Let's start off with the quarterback, Austin Grieve. He's kind of like an Eric Anderson clone type player. He's a great kicker. I tell you what, he's going to minimize Phoebus' special teams return game. Definitely. With his kicking ability. He kicks nothing but touchbacks.
Yeah, I believe he split All-State honors last year with Anderson, and this year he was second-team All-Region for kicker, and he was also, I believe, second-team All-Region for quarterback. So he's not just a good kicker. He can throw the ball around a little bit as well, and he's got targets to work with.
Definitely. Wide receiver Brandon Ravenel. He's quite an athlete. Grieve likes to throw outside shoulder routes to him, and he comes up with the catch time and again. He's a very athletic wide receiver, and he's going to be a good matchup with Deloach because he plays cornerback as well. Yeah,
he definitely impressed me with some of the footage I've seen of him. The kid's been starting since day one, freshman year. First player in, I believe it's North Stafford's history, their coach said, that he had ever played from day one as a freshman, as a starter. Not just, getting a couple plays and, wipe down games. This kid's real deal Holyfield. And like you said, that will be a great matchup with him and Deloach. because this kid's the real deal. He's all region as a junior wide receiver.
Yeah. And, North Stafford, they play with the pistol-style offense. Phoebus hasn't seen that this year. And that could give them trouble. Their running backs, Kevin Daniels and
fullback, A.J. Sly, I believe.
Sly. They do a great job in pass protection. And it's going to be interesting to see how Phoebus' speedy defensive ends can get by the tackle and the running back, get to that quarterback.
Yeah, I definitely think Phoebus' secondary is going to have to be huge this game like they were last week. And I think that defensive line is going to have to step up a little more this week and try and get some pressure on them. Not nearly as mobile as Saunders was, so I think they'll be able to get a little more pressure. With Saunders, you kind of had to contain. With Grebe, you can kind of attack him a little more than with Saunders with his escapability. And,
right.
So I think that'll definitely be an interesting matchup. Their offensive line does look solid for North Stafford. So D-line, O-line, that's going to be an interesting matchup between the two teams.
Right. In order to win this game, Phoebus has to score points.
Definitely.
I mean, North Stafford scrimmaged York earlier this year, and York was able to put points up on them. Phoebus definitely has to put points up on them. If not, they're going to have to control the clock with their running game, control the time of possession, play that grinded out Phoebus football. And I see the Phantoms winning this game, narrowly marching on to the state finals. I see them trailing once again in the fourth quarter, typical Phoebus playoffs, and then they pull it out. With some time on the clock, defense is going to preserve. I like a 27-24 win, Phoebus.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Phoebus, man, you want to bet against them because you just, sometimes you think, they just don't have enough, but every time they fight through and they just show you so much heart and soul, and they do not want to lose. I believe Pittman said last week in the post-game interview, he feels like if they lose, they are disrespecting the past Phoebus players. And you got to like that coming from a young man, a young high school football player, that he respects the culture of Phoebus football to the point where they feel discouraged if they lose, like they're disrespecting the culture of the high school, the football team, everything.
Definitely.
So that was impressive to me. A couple things I think Phoebus is going to have to do to get a W this week. They're going to have to find a way to contain Ravenel. The kid's big time wide out. They may have to bracket him. I don't know. I'm sure Summers and him are going to lock up plenty because Summers seems to be the lockdown corner this year for them. I think that'll be a great matchup. Although Ravenel's probably got a couple inches, I think he could probably make up for it.
Another thing, Octavius Matthews might make his season debut this week with the Phantoms. He's an excellent cornerback.
Safety,
He'll help the secondary out tremendously if he can play, 25% of the defensive plays.
Yeah, I believe
third downs, long third down possessions. If he can step in there and give them a lift, that's only going to make Phoebus' case even stronger.
Yeah, I think they said that you're going to try and get him maybe 10, 15 snaps, but I'm sure they'll be in crucial situations.
Definitely.
And I mean, it'll help just to have him back out on the field because he is a leader on the team, and they were dedicating the season to him, and now that he's going to be out there, I think that might be an uplift for the team. Not to mention they do have home field.
Yeah.
But another key, I think, to the game is they've got to stop the run. They struggled last week with that spread offense, kind of spreading them out and running up the chute. And the pistol offense is, it's very similar to that, except for they actually had that extra blocker in the backfield with the fullback, so that's going to help even more. So I think the defense has to step up. D. Lyman, Lyles, Givers, they got to be huge this week. Another thing, they're going to need to mix up the offense. I know Pittman's been carrying the load, and he's been doing a fantastic job. I mean,
well, Ramon DeLoach got shut down last week, didn't have a catch.
Yeah.
Is that the first time this year he hasn't had a catch in the game? He's definitely got to be involved in the offense this week.
Yeah, that brings me to my next point. I was going to say, get DeLoach involved early. If you can get him involved early, that opens up everything. If you can get, maybe even a couple screen passes, just to let him get the ball in his hands, do a couple of things, or a little slant here or there, get him involved early. That is going to open up Pittman's rushing lane so much. It'll just change the entire game. And last but not least, defense, is, as I've been saying the whole time, has to step up this week. And special teams will be huge. As we've said, Stafford has a great kicker in Grebe. And Phoebus kind of struggled in punt coverage and kickoff coverage last week. And they've got great kick return and punt return with Ravenel back there. And he's extremely athletic, quick. They're going to have to make the tackles this week. No missed tackles, none of that. But all in all, I'm going Phoebus 24-17 over North Stafford. I think they can contain that offense. I think they've got the bad week out of their system. I think they step up. I think they were kind of disappointed they gave up all those yards and all those points last week.
Yeah, I definitely like the Phantoms as well. And, we'll see.
We shall see. I'm sure the North Stafford squad is going to bring a lot of fans with them. So we do hope the PD can support the Phantoms just as well. Don't let them show us up with all their fans coming down from North Stafford and make it a home field advantage for them.
Driving 3 hours away, stuck in traffic just to get down here to Darling Stadium.
And that's making a rude awakening for them. Show them that the PD does support the Phantoms. Packed house, I'd love to see it. Darling's been kind of quiet this year.
Definitely.
Although last week, I must say, it's the most people I've seen at Darling.
Norcom packed out.
Yes, they definitely did it. And Phoebus, they did pack the house as well. They had the side pretty full. Most fans I've seen all year.
When you're a home team in this kind of playoff environment, you gotta get more people there.
Definitely. So make sure you come out, support the Phantoms, even if you are a Hampton Crabber, Bethel Bruin, and you hate Phoebus or whatnot, or even if you're Norcom and you feel like you should have won, or Lake Taylor, Eastern Region, come out, support the Phantoms. It's great football action. It'll be a great game on Saturday. But that pretty much wraps up everything I've got to say about this matchup. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. We'll see you next week.
I sure hope so. All right. As always, I'd like you to check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/757preps. We have highlights of all the games. We try and put as much action on there as possible. You can check us on Twitter at 757preps, and you can also check us out on facebook.com/757preps. And as always, check out the website for stories, pictures, and videos, and all that good stuff. So, as always, for Jason Kidd, I'm Perez Thomas. Have a good weekend. Hope to see you at the game.